Hello, hello, Mom and Dad Me World. Thank you for joining us today. Today we are going to talk about tips and tricks for going to Australia. We personally visited Sydney. It was beautiful. These trips and tips will help you not only get to Sydney, but I'm sure they apply to Melbourne and all the other beautiful areas up the Gold Coast, northern part of the country, just all of the country as a whole. There were some things that I didn't know that I wish I had, and so let's just get right into those. Dennis is going to splash some great photos across the screen, show some video clips of while we're there, so kind of tie it all in. But first thing you need to know before you've done anything else is you have to apply for a visa. I did not know that. I actually bought my airline tickets first and then applied for the visa. And it was a little bit nerve-wracking because I put myself in a time crunch that they might not have lined up right. So don't do that to yourself. Apply for the visa first. Some things you need to know about applying for a visa. It's very straightforward. There is a really inexpensive way to do it. You can go download their app. It's the Australian EAT app, and it's downloadable right to your mobile phone. And I'll see if I can zoom in here. Dennis will also show you a picture if this doesn't come in. But the Australian EAT app, you could go in there and apply. It's like something like $12 US, which depending on the currency and the exchange rates could be like $10. That process is almost instantaneous. You find out right away. My daughter, she's brilliant. She downloaded the app. She went through it. She did it right away. I got on the Australian travel website and decided to look up different types of visas and what I needed to apply, and I went the old-fashioned way. So I got a Tourist 600 visa, which allows you to stay for up to 3 months during a 12-month period, which means I could go for a week, come back, go for a week, come back. We're up to a 3-month period, total combined time during a 12-month period. But what I did need to know was if you've ever had any kind of criminal activity to Australia, I haven't, but some of their questions, their English language is converted to the Queen's English because they're colonized, right? And I didn't understand the dialogue, so I answered some questions really cautiously, and that took me down the route of the tourist visa 600, which was about $150 US versus the $12, and it was about a 2-week to 4-week processing time, but they say it can take up to 90 days, and if they have to review, it can take a year. So I didn't experience any hangups or glitches, but if you have anything in your past that you're like, hey, I was dumb, I was 18, I joyrided a car, I don't know, I see all kinds of things on social media that I just scratch my head at, but if you've done something silly in your past, take the time, read the visa rules, don't apply for one and get denied. It's harder to get an approval after a denial, so take the time to apply for the right visa. Additionally, once you've got your visa in place, you've bought your airline tickets, you're ready to go, you're like, hey, currency exchange. I'm going to take some US dollars and I'm going to turn them into Australian dollars. Brilliant. You always want to have cash on hand when you travel, not gobs of money. They actually have recommendations of something like if you spend more than $800 or bring back more than $800, you actually have to claim it for customs. So they ask you how much money you're bringing in, how much money you're bringing out on these customs forms. Look up the rules when you travel because I'm sure that they're flowing and traveling and changing as countries' governments change. But when I went, I brought a couple $100 with me and I went to a currency exchange right inside the airport as soon as we landed. And boy, oh boy, was that a miss. They were nice, they were courteous, they gave me a beautiful exchange rate of like 1 to 1.3, which, you know, hey, anytime you get more than a dollar for a dollar, wonderful, right? Except for not so much, because what we found is when we got into downtown Sydney, right outside the ferry terminals, there was a different company, literally 200 feet away, maybe 20 yards, 30 yards, I don't know, you could see it, called Crown Exchange, and they were a 1.44 to 1 exchange rate. So kind of a little bit more money for your bang for your buck. Also good to know. A lot of books and tour guides will also show you where to go. You can look it up in Google. A lot of different options. But what I also learned about currency exchange is TAP. TAP is amazing. My TAP rate when I was going through and doing stuff was like a 1.6 to my currency exchange of a 1.4 at Crown. So my TAP rate was a 1.6 or 1.57 to 6 versus the cash rate of 1.4. There are some small businesses that do prefer it, but when I'm talking about tap to pay, I'm talking about when you click the button on your phone and you might have Google Pay or Samsung Pay. I have Apple Pay. I found that Apple Pay was taken widely everywhere. There was only 2 times I didn't use my American Express card, which is travel card preference. I'll get into that here in just a minute. But tap and exchange rates, know what they are before you go. If you go into your calculator on your phone, Apple's calculator has a currency conversion option where you can convert to your US dollars to whatever country you're going to, which was a really neat feature I wasn't even aware of. But I learned about it and it was very helpful. So that's the money side. Additionally, one hot tip with money, when you go to the bank to get your money, everybody has seen that dollar bill that has like, where did you see me, the rubber stamp, the blue ink mark, the pin mark, the check. Your money cannot have any indicators or marks on it. Dennis may even cut in here to a video we shot in front of the Crown Exchange, if I'm not mistaken, where I talked about this, because I couldn't exchange, it was just 20 bucks, but they wouldn't take it because it had like an ink marker across the top of my $20 bill. They have no way to exchange money at like our Federal Reserve if they're in another country. So you make sure that the money you're bringing is in pristine, great condition. It just makes it easier on yourself. Go to your bank, take the time to do it right. Moving on to credit cards and foreign transaction fees. So know your credit card before you travel. A lot of credit cards still have foreign transaction fees, which means you tap, you swipe, you pay for something, and you get a secondary transaction fee that says, hey, thanks for using your card, but you used it in another country. Here's an additional $2, $3, $4 fee. Think ATM surcharge, right? My American Express card, I love it. I'm an American Express member. I've been a member for a long time. Actually, I have a platinum card just for the travel benefits, at lounge access, just all kinds of crazy cool perks as a travel card. But I believe several Amex cards don't have your foreign exchange rates. Additionally, my Apple Card. My Apple Card is by Goldman Sachs. It does not have any foreign exchange rates either. There was only 2 instances where my Amex card wasn't taken. One of them, believe it or not, was an ice cream boat. Yes, an ice cream boat. When we were out swimming, and they took my Apple Card, which was great because I didn't have any, cash in my swimsuit. And then another one was just a really small business at a street fair that just had a sign that said they would prefer not to take Amex up. I wanted to honor that. So do yourself a service and check ahead of time. It could be you're going up the road to Canada. I mean, the United States is bordering to Canada and Mexico. People travel all the time. Know your travel card and your tapping. Why spend money you don't have to, right? Some other things to know about currency exchange is if you have a travel book, we use the Rough Guide series. We used the 12th edition. My daughter actually bought a 14th edition, liked it, but she really liked the 12th edition. It's all marked up, all tabbed, but it talked about currency exchange, it talked about credit cards. It also talked about what to pack when you're packing, where to stay, and all of that, because when you go to another country, there's a lot of things you need to know. Australia drives on the left side of the road. That also translates to walking on the left side. So here in the US, we walk on the right side. In Australia, they walk on the left. If you're on an escalator and you're going down, and you know how we have a tendency to stay towards the right so people can pass us in the left lane going fast? Well, it's the exact opposite. I was in the escalator, moving left, and the people were passing me on the right. It took me a couple days of just realizing that I was getting in people's way, walking around the city, for that to really click in my brain, and I thought it might be something to make you aware of. It's just common courtesy to be helpful of all the other travelers. Sydney itself was an amazing walking city. You can walk the bridge, you have the Sydney Harbour Bridge view, you don't have to pay for a tour, there's walking tours all over, lots of free things to do. But you can also go up to the gardens, you can walk by the Sydney Harbour, their ferry and transit station, their trains. They have a one-tap system called Opal. I downloaded the app and create an account. When you get out of the airport, you can buy a card right there at the exchange. I highly encourage you to use their Opal card system, and here's why. You can tap to pay with your phone every time you get on and off a train. You can tap to pay with their light rail, you can tap to pay with their bus. But if you get their card and load the funds, they have a max out of pocket per week, and if you're going to be there for any length of time, and I was there for like 7 or 8 days, we hit our max out of pocket and actually got to travel out to Manly twice on the ferry. I went on the light rail to have dinner with friends in town and back with no additional fees on that last Saturday I was there. And so that can be a hidden savings if you sign up for their card and actually use their transit system. Additionally, it's just, really easy to use. You can register your credit card for the Opal app and make that part of your Opal app as well. I didn't go that route. I went with the tangible card, but it's pretty easy to use and very, very user-friendly. It's very similar to use if you've ever traveled to say, the Oregon, Portland area, and they have their light rail system. It's a very similar map system. I'll throw up some pictures here so you guys can see that as well. It was pretty great. So a couple things to think about when you're traveling is your lodging. We stayed in an Airbnb because we were there for an extended period of time, and lodging was been actually our most expensive cost over airfare. There are great tips and tricks on how to stay in hostels for as cheap as like $20 a person a day. You gotta want to take your stuff with you. You gotta want to share a room. Like you could get maybe a 2-person hostel with your spouse or your best friend that you're traveling with, and spend $40 Australian, which is like, you know, 25, 30 bucks US right now, and just have an overnight experience. Or we went with the Airbnb route, had a wonderful experience, stayed right on the Sydney Harbor. I think we spent, you know, $1,800 for like 9 days. There was 3 of us there. We had a bathroom, a shower, a kitchen, everything. It was fantastic. So look around, look in your tour books, do some research, Airbnb, VRBO, and hotels. The hotels we looked at, I really wanted to stay at a couple Marriotts that were right there. They're my favorite chain. They're just clean and friendly and really great, but they were like $300 to $500 a night. And for 8 or 9 nights for multiple people, that wasn't feasible for us. So one more thing that we want to touch on briefly is that when you're traveling, you want to make sure you book your travel for the time of the year that you want to experience and explore. When you're traveling to Sydney, if you're coming from the continental US, depending on where you're at in the world, it's going to be a different time of the year. Our peak of winter in December is their peak of summer. Their peak of summer, or into summer when we went, you know, February, March, is actually, you know, for us, it's early spring. Make sure you know when you're going. Some cell phones have an app for that. We used our guidebook. Our guidebook was really helpful to tell you what time of the year is height of tourist season, into tourist season, if you don't want to be in crowds. Just do your homework so you know that you didn't buy tickets to go to see a snowy December Sydney and know that Sydney's not snowy in December, or vice versa. It would be very disappointing to get somewhere and not have the gear you need for when you go. Transitioning to topics to talk about packing. Packing is so important. Water bottle for the airplane, for the airport, for the car ride. You want to keep your water intake high. When you're traveling to a different climate than you're used to, your body's got to adjust to different time zone changes. The simplest thing you can do for yourself is help yourself stay hydrated. So drink lots of water on your trip. Bring a refillable bottle that you're comfortable with. It can be a disposable water bottle that you're comfortable with, but bring one. Additionally, bring a lightweight backpack. On our trip, we hiked the Blue Mountains. We were out in all kinds of different areas, inner city walking, and we actually went and got this really, and no, this is not sponsored. It just happened to be on sale and I liked it. This really cute Eddie Bauer 30-liter backpack. You see this? It's super cute. If you unzip it, what you'll see is it folds out into a full-on backpack. In this backpack, I roughed it, no joke, 9 days. I did the Blue Mountains hike, which you'll see later, some pictures and video of, which was like almost nearly 6 miles for that day, a mile down, mile up, mostly stairs, with 1.5 liter bottles, 3 of them in here. But this backpack has padded shoulder straps, believe it or not, a padded backpack, great 30 liters of inside storage, front area, side water bottle holders. In general, you want something lightweight, compact. You can set it aside, you can pick it up easy. You don't want to be burdened by it. Making sure that you have additionally the right shoes for the job. If you're walking the city, bring your comfortable walking trail. Hikers have good insoles, great socks, spare socks, not cotton. Cotton leaves blisters, just in case you didn't know that. But hiking boots. If you bring hiking boots with you, you have to declare them on the customs form coming into Australia. They ask you, are you bringing any shoes from outside the country? And if so, where have they been? They take their ecological transplants very seriously. They want to know, hey, did you go hiking in, Istanbul and climb Mount Rainier in Seattle and go out to this place? They want to know these things because they're looking for cross-contamination, and they will inspect them for dirt, rock, gravel. So if you're bringing shoes into the country, first things first, clean them. Scrub them down, make sure there's no debris, no dirt, no cross-contamination. Maybe even throw them through the washer or hose them off. And absolutely declare them, you guys. Like, we declared ours. They didn't even open our bag and look. They asked us questions, asked us if we'd cleaned them, and we had. We'd actually only used them around town to really break them in, so we hadn't been on any hiking trails of sort. But they're really just trying to keep the environment safe for everybody to be able to go out to those environments and enjoy them for future generations. So they're not trying to make your life difficult, so make theirs easy by just you know, doing the right thing, declare it, or, clean it up. Global entry, TSA pre-check. These are tips and tricks. So when you're coming back into the US, having TSA pre-check and clear, absolutely fantastic. Or when you're in the US, I should say, global entry and clear. Coming back into the US, you would use global entry. Our daughter used global entry, and she literally walked right through the customs line. And I mean, it was a 20-minute wait for us. It wasn't bad, but we watched her walk through, go towards baggage claim, hang out, text us and chat, make, haha, what's taking you so long jokes. And so if it's in your budget to do something like global entry or clear or TSA pre-check, cutting the line cuts the stress, you guys. It's kind of like paying for the shortcut at Disneyland when you get the fast pass and people are like, oh, that's not fair, but you paid for it. Pay for the services and fees to get through the airport lines. It's mind-blowing how much less stressed out you will be. Tips and tricks for cell phone use when you're international. Know your cell phone plan and its do's and don'ts and what you can and can't do. We use Verizon. Verizon top tier plans include international in 26 countries. It was only $10 more a month for us to turn on our international plan, and it included Australia. This is true of most cell phone carriers that you have a month-to-month plan with, but Verizon would have sold me a $12 a day plan for the entire time I was there if I would have asked for it. It was about me knowing what was available. So read the fine print and the different cell phone plans. If you're not sure, go down and talk to someone at your carrier, at your store in person. It's worth a little bit of leg room or leg work to save you some monetary and some headache. So know your cell phone plan, know what your carrier offers you. Additionally, if you have a phone that's got like an eSIM option, maybe dual eSIM, and you have one phone, you could add a second line to it. You can get a digital eSIM. If you have an older model that maybe has one SIM card slot and an eSIM for your current number, you can do that as well. There's a lot of options to get international coverage in a country you may be traveling to. For Australia, for $10 a month to have our same phone number, unlimited texting, unlimited calling, and a data plan included, it was a no-brainer. I would say do your homework, you guys. There's a lot of options that are not expensive. Having Wi-Fi when I went out to be able to upload my photos to the cloud or text my photos places, it was huge. I turned my phone to a hotspot once. So something that I did see in Australia that was super cool was they have free national calling. So there's these toll booths that have national, like if you know someone in Australia, you need to make a phone call or whatever, they have free calling. But they also have Wi-Fi hotspots attached to them. There was Wi-Fi readily available all over the place there at hotels, Airbnbs, just out and about. If you look around, I'll have Dennis splash up a picture here too of these like cute little phone booths that are still functional all over because no one vandalizes them because everybody uses them. The fact that it has a Wi-Fi hotspot attached means that if you're going truly to travel abroad and you're on a budget and you just don't know what you're going to do, get to know what resources are available in the country because Sydney's got a great infrastructure. We were over in Manly. We took the ferry across the harbor. They had the same infrastructure there. We walked down to Bangalore, which is, just a suburb kind of Sydney. They had it there. Just know what you have available to you because, if you don't need it every day, you don't want to pay for it, you have options and choices. Google Maps versus Apple Maps. I'm an Apple user. I'm an Apple fan. I might be in a part of an Apple ecosystem, but I did find that when I was in Sydney, we were having some issues with getting maps to load, like when we were out in the Blue Mountains. And so we were just talking to the locals, the tour guides that were servicing us. And we said, hey, what do you guys use to navigate? Like when you're walking, when you're going to load maps, when you're going to do things. And they said, by far, hands down there with their infrastructure, Apple's in its infancy for its maps to use Google Maps. And I thought that was good information for tips and tricks to share. Because if you have to download an app and you didn't download data or Wi-Fi or whatever, you want to have that on your phone before you go. Travel alerts. So this is something I wasn't even aware of. It was in the tour guide, the Rough Guides book. Additionally, my daughter did legwork on it, and you can set a travel alert, at least if you're in the US. I'm sure other countries have this as well, that notifies them, hey, I'm leaving the country. This is my travel destination. This is how long I'm going for, and these are my emergency contacts. And if something should happen in the world that affects the country you're from or the country you're in, they will contact your emergency contacts on your behalf, and they will reach out to you to let you know what's going on so you can try and arrange travel back home. I'm going to backtrack this and explain what travel alerts are. Travel alerts, you set them with the US Embassy. You go in, you log in, I think you use your username and cell phone, and you let them know how long you're going to be out of the country. set up emergency contacts, and it allows them to contact you in case there was an emergency back home, or if you had an emergency abroad, it allows them to contact your emergency contacts and just help you coordinate and be safe while you're out of the country. Additionally, if you're out of the country, you should know where your U.S. embassies are, if there are any in the country you're traveling to. Bookmark them in your maps or on your phone, or have their phone number listed at the bare minimum in case you should need to call someone from the U.S. consulate. So something else to know is when you sign up for travel alerts, you'll get emails from the U.S. Embassy that will give you like inclement weather alerts. Like if there was a cyclone coming in, and actually there was one coming into Sydney when we were leaving and hitting the northern part of the country, they actually emailed us and let us know, hey, by the way, this is happening. We were already on a plane on the way home, so it was irrelevant to us, but it might be relevant to you if you're backpacking or going out somewhere where the weather is going to change your travel plans. So it's super important information to have. Thought it was super helpful that is at your fingertips for free, no charge. You just got to know to use the tips. Restaurants. I got to throw this in at the end because it's funny, it's fun. Outback Steakhouse is kind of a myth in the sense that there really are no Australian restaurants that are Australian natives. Unless you're an Aboriginal Indigenous person from Australia, all the restaurants are founded by immigrants, just like here in the US. So when you see the no rules, just right Outback Steakhouse, yes, they do exist in Australia. I saw a couple driving past on tour buses and everybody makes fun of them. They're a great restaurant. I love them here in the US, but if you're gonna eat local, go to your pubs, grab some local pub food. The pub food is like our pizza and our cheeseburgers. You'll find we'll do some talking about what that is, but in general, I just thought this would be a fun way to close it out, to just say there's no rules on how you do your trip. However you do it is just right for you, but have fun, enjoy yourself, but plan and take the stress out of the trip, because a little bit of planning on the front end makes a lot more success in the back end. So if you found this video helpful at all, thank you for humoring me, staying with me on this journey. Like, share, subscribe, and if you've got any other tips you'd like to add, throw them here in the comment section of our channel. We're always welcome to hearing from others who've got far more experience than us. Until next time, bye for now. Thanks for watching.